How do we navigate the complexities of 21st century life when the maps and compass we are using are still based upon the principles of 19th and 20th century life? When life now is unrecognisable to just 20 years ago, how are we equipped to thrive when our very survival is not accounted for? And how can we avert the constant recreation of the war-drenched, power-hungry, bigotry-filled, exclusory landscape of the last century when those in authority are hell-bent on keeping us stuck there for their own retention of power? In this episode, we take a real-world glimpse of our lives now and start to explore how finding your Virida is key to living your best 21st century life. Welcome to Virida. New York City, December 4th, 2012, at 12:30 p.m. In the early afternoon of a cold winter's day, a man struggles to clamber onto the platform of the 49th Street subway station. With an arm raised to shoulder height, he cannot gain enough purchase to pull himself up, and nobody is helping. Moments before, he was pushed onto the tracks just as the Q train thundered into view. A witness on the platform takes a picture of the man, desperately attempting to climb back onto the high platform. This image captures the last breath of Ki Su-han as the train hits and kills him. The shocking photograph that acts as last testament to a person's life sparks enormous debate, not because of what it depicts, but why it was taken in the first place. Why does the photographer not help to pull the doomed victim back to safety? The photographer states he is too far away to help, so he flashes his camera to alert the driver to impending danger. During this failed attempt, the camera takes the haunting image that appears in the New York Post that same day. In the debate that follows, science presents us with a phenomena of the human brain. When we watch events through a screen, we do not see them as reality, so we do not act upon them as if they are. Taiwan, January 8th, 2015. People sit wide-eyed at the screens in front of them, transfixed by the flashing images that caress the glass with hypnotic rhythm. They spasm and jerk as the narrative unfolds before them. In this crowded internet cafe in Kaohsiung, nobody has noticed the man asleep at his desk. He has been there for 3 days, playing a game without food or anything to drink, depriving himself of a moment's care. Such is the intensity of his immersion. In that pixelated world, you do not need sustenance or bathroom breaks, not when the bullets are flying and the danger is ever near. So when his heart could no longer take the stress of this virtual war zone, and he fell forward for his eternal sleep, nobody noticed. For hours, nobody noticed. And even when the police arrived to investigate, nobody noticed. When we experience enormous levels of stress, our bodies ignore the need to take basic care of ourselves. That bite to eat or sip of water could be the end of us. Even when that danger is unreal, our instinct to survive cannot differentiate between the threat we tell ourselves we have and the real threat. The physical world happens, and as part of that world, albeit one that extends into other worlds, we need to pay attention to that reality. Without fulfillment of the foundations, the experiences we choose beyond our physical world cannot sustain their reality. Yosemite National Park, October 23rd, 2018. As the sun arcs downwards over Taft Point, a magnificent outcrop of rock 1,000 feet above the valley below, a tripod and camera stand, focused on the horizon. For one whole night, this lonely sentinel will keep its watch for the final time. It had spent so long travelling, capturing moments in the lives of Meenakshi Murthy and Vishnu Vishwanath, always ready to share with their 10,000 followers on Instagram. From India to the United States, the selfies immortalised through lens-refracted light were now all that remain of the couple who chased sunsets. Earlier that day, they had been standing on the precipice, arms outstretched and smiling joyously at the camera, and moments later, they were gone, ever travelling the void beyond. And the single black dot of that obedient eye continued to gaze and wait until morning, when it could share its final story with the world. Since 2011, hundreds of people have died in dangerous situations whilst attempting to take selfies. Their addiction to the button clicks of transient onlookers is worth risking their lives for, though they never think that next image will be their visual epitaph. They are testament to how we, as people, are photo by photo, less focused on the world around us in favour of the screen at our hand. Our world and everything we are within that world is ever changing, and we adapt and change with it. We explore, make choices, create hot messes, and this is all part of the moments we call life. During the Industrial Revolution and the vast changes of the 19th and 20th centuries, we evolved culturally and socially to adapt to an absolute contrast in the way we lived and died. We reinvented history to match this unfamiliar territory with our expectations of what it should be, and prepared for a future in the brave new world. These adaptations worked. We are here. The fact they worked then does not mean they will always work. As we turn from cogs and pistons to nanotechnology and AI, we are encouraged to adapt again, to develop and undergo a paradigm shift, just as our ancestors have done for millennia. However, many of the challenges we face are in direct conflict with our established way of life, with the ethos and expectations ingrained from the 19th and 20th century perspectives we are so familiar with and defend so fervently. Overpopulation of humans and the environmental impact of that overpopulation, the diverse political and social divides these problems create, the marginalisation of people and whole communities caused by that division, the politicisation of social interactions that tear friendships and families apart whilst giving us permission to disenfranchise others through digital terror in the form of hate speech and trolling. And all the while our screens tell us these challenges are not anything to concern ourselves with, for there are far greater conspiracies to keep us awake at night. We lol, we WTF, we like, and we like some more. We take photos of people dying. We die playing at dying, and we selfie ourselves off cliffs. And all the while, we are social media obsessing ourselves into oblivion as we watch, play, and look at the little box, rather than the peril we are in. Epidemics of suicide, teen-on-teen murder, hate crime, and fatalistic isolationism are symptoms of the global challenges we face. The challenge of running in our heads software developed for cogs and pistons when living in a world of nanotech and artificial intelligence. You are being systemically controlled into self-destructive apathy by ecosystems of living data and the algorithms designed to match your button clicks with a complex deconstruction of your psyche. You are no longer a person. You are an amalgamation of digital choices and checkboxes. As such, you are easy to control. And until you match those Oberführer algorithms with the ability to think at a degree of human equivalence in nano-complexity, you will continue to click your way into extinction. This human equivalence is impossible. We cannot consciously think in ways that mirror the big data machines we interface with each day. But we can change. We can evolve. We can vivolve. The Viridian Method was originated in response to the death throes of the 20th century. Now the corpse of that era is slumped at the table next to us. Most are too busy tweeting their lizard-brained thoughts and pinning cupcakes to their digital boards to notice. All the while, dinosaurs of the last century are retaking power and using cupcake desires and fear-driven brain farts to keep people locked into the habit of making others wealthy. And we are taking photos of others and ourselves as we perish. The embracing of complexity, turning chaos into paradigm, is at the heart of the VM philosophy. Throughout history, spiritual methods have sought to give meaning for the monkey mind in a way that activates the human mind to the needs of the world. That challenge is greater than ever. For whilst we can push buttons and share opinions, very few can truly appreciate the overarching systems at play each time we do. Designing a unique mimetic strategy of life enables each of us to become a guiding light for those who are suffering in the 21st century because they have woken to the challenges we are facing and are only equipped with 19th or 20th century solutions at best. From a sense of utter bewilderment to the experience of powerlessness and the dis-ease these create, most people, even children and young adults, are floundering to gain autonomy in a world ripping itself apart with hyperbole, obsolete narrative, and the decaying stench of dogmatic rhetoric. However, there is a different way of navigating this strange and unusual mismatch of cultural technology and sociological nostalgia. Discovering your Virida is a way of plugging your greater self into the mix and adapting how you function accordingly. The sculpted expression of mimetic V-state is one that transcends the systemically default E-state experience of a complex life, creating simplicity by managing the chaos, not through meeting the chaos head-on, but through knowing the nature of chaos. And this all begins with a simple shift in perspective.